Alright everyone, welcome to Aggression 101. My name is Aflixion Starr. I was a member of EVE University from about August to January of last year, and then I joined Snigwoff, where I was just recently promoted to a junior director. I've been a recruiter there for a little while as well. I'd started teaching because I really enjoy teaching, and I like math and mechanics behind games, so I thought it's perfect that I should teach. A few rules for this class. I'll be posting all links, if there are any, in lecture.etacuni is the in-game channel. And if you don't already, please have your mumble set up for push to talk so you don't key up randomly, or just mute yourself. Please be docked in a station. If you're more advanced, you can be undocked and moving around, but for the majority of you, please stay docked. And I will be following the syllabus that's on the EVUni wiki that I will now link in lecture.euni. Alright. So, what is aggression? Aggression means activating any harmful module that you have on your ship, activating that on another ship, or another NPC ship, player ship, whatever. If it affects another ship negatively, then it's counted as aggression, and this includes your drones. So it's either a module on your ship or your drones doing something negative to another player. Now, aggression has consequences, whether it's legal or not. So, aggression against another player results in a capsuleer log-off timer. This is a 15-minute timer that prevents your ship from disappearing from space when you log off. That means that if you have a capsuleer log-off timer, your ship will sit there for a full 15 minutes before it disappears if you disconnect. And this is 15 minutes from the last aggression that happened, whether you did it or someone did it to you. So when you aggress someone, you both get a 15-minute capsuleer log-off timer that prevents you from disappearing. This can be used to catch super capital ships and titans and capitals, all the really juicy targets. You can take advantage of this log-off timer to prevent them from disappearing and secure the kill for your fleet. There's also an NPC version of that, the non-capsuleer log-off timer. It's the same mechanics, except it only lasts 5 minutes. And you can see on the syllabus there, they have two similar symbols in the top left of your screen. The capsuleer log-off timer is an a red exclamation mark with the timer ticking down around it, and non-capsuleer is a yellow exclamation mark with the timer ticking down around it. In addition to these two timers, if you are shooting an enemy ship, a player ship, not an NPC, you also get a weapons timer. This is a 1-minute timer that prevents you from having a session change. And the session change can be activated by jumping through a Stargate, docking, ejecting from your ship, boarding another ship. For a full minute after you commit an aggressive action against another player, you will not be able to do anything like that. You will be stuck in space. Any questions about those aggression timers so far? And you can speak up here on Mumble, or you can ask your question in lecture.euni. Let me back up a bit here. Zale Noklu asked, does that include drones set to aggressive? If your drones perform an aggressive action against any other ship or an NPC, then you'll get the log-off timers. If your drones perform an aggressive action against an enemy player ship, then you will get a weapons timer. And Zeg Dunyer asks, not on the receiving end? That's correct. Only the aggressor gets the weapons timer. The person on the receiving end of aggression does not get a weapons timer. Nolo Carbo Random asks, targeting is not considered aggression. Targeting is not considered aggression. Targeting someone, just locking them up, you can do that to anyone. It's only if you activate a module that you get the aggression timer. And the difference between these two, when you see someone else locking you or aggressing you on your overview, the lock is a yellow box around their icon, and the aggression is a red box around their icon. So sometimes aggression is called red boxing. Smokin' Moses asks, does the weapons timer also block the player from using a jump bridge? I believe it does. I haven't personally tested it, but it fits with the information that I have, that you cannot have a session change while you have a weapons timer.
Right, I mean the pass module jump bridge, not the Titan bridge.
Yes.
Yeah, alright.
Apo Tarse asks, where can we learn more about what is meant by session change? There is a page on the EVE University wiki called Timers. I believe session change is at the bottom of that page. Apo also asks, what about activating a cargo scanner module, for example? Cargo scanner is not a hostile module. It does not affect the enemy ship negatively. So you can activate that without getting an aggression timer. Okay, any more questions about those three aggression timers, the capsuleer log-off timer, non-capsuleer log-off timer, and weapons timer? Weapons timer is especially important on stations because if you shoot someone while you're in docking range of a station, you cannot dock for a full minute after you stop shooting them. Okay, so we'll move on to legal and illegal targets, legal or illegal aggression. Legal aggression is, at this point, we're talking only against enemy player ships, not NPC ships. For enemy player ships, legal aggression is aggression against a player who is in your corporation, at war with your corporation, your alliance, or your militia, has a suspect timer, a criminal timer, or is an outlaw. That means they have security status of below -5. Or if you have a limited engagement with that person. And I'll cover what all of these mean a bit later in the lecture. So legal targets are any of those. In corp, at war with your corp, alliance, or militia, a suspect, criminal, outlaw, or limited engagement. Illegal aggression is shooting anyone else. Now, if you illegally aggress someone, that has consequences that comes with it, and the consequences differ based on what area of space you're flying in. And when I say legal or illegal, I only mean in the eyes of Concord, not in the mechanics of the game. You are free to shoot whoever you want, but there are consequences associated with shooting people that Concord deems is an illegal target. In a high security space, if you shoot someone who is an illegal target, then you will incur a security status loss. Your security status will go down. You will gain a criminal timer, which will result in Concord destroying your ship. And there is no way to escape this. If you do escape Concord destroying your ship with a criminal timer in high sec, It is a bannable exploit. And if you are within 150 kilometers of sentry guns, which are on every Stargate and every station, then you will take sentry gun aggression.
Sorry, what did you say was an? I'm sorry. What did you say was a bannable exploit? I missed that.
If you somehow escape Concord when you have a criminal timer in high security space in a ship, Concord won't respond to capsules.
Okay.
So if you have a criminal timer in high security space and you are in something other than your capsule, you will lose your ship, guaranteed. Okay. Aggression, illegal aggression in low security space also results in a security status loss. But depending on whether you aggress a ship or a pod, the consequences will be different. If you shoot at a ship in low security space, and this is an illegal target, you will gain a suspect timer. You will not lose your ship because of it. Concord does not respond in low security space. If you shoot at an illegal target that's a pod or capsule in low security space, you will gain a criminal timer. But again, it's low security space. You will not lose your ship over it. However, if you're within 150 kilometers of sentry guns, they will respond. And again, sentry guns are on every Stargate and every station in both high security and low security space. It's important to note that security status loss will be a minor loss if you shoot an enemy ship, and it will be a bigger loss if you shoot an enemy pod. And Eliza Pierce asks, what is the security status loss quantitatively? It's not a concrete number with each aggression. It's a percentage of the difference between your current security status and minus 10. If you want to know more about the percentage-based gains and losses, that's the subject of a different class. The same thing goes with faction standings. They're all percentage-based gains and losses. So the higher your security status to start with, the bigger a security status loss you will take for shooting both a ship and a pod. The closer you are to negative 10, the smaller the loss will be. So it can take you maybe one fleet to go from 5.0 security status to negative 5.0. But it can take months to go from negative 9.9 to negative 10.0. In null security space and in wormholes, there are no additional consequences for illegal aggression. In fact, in null security space and wormholes, there is no differentiation between illegal and legal aggression. Everyone is a valid target in null security and wormholes. Are there any questions about illegal aggression so far? Five, four, three, two, one. Okay. Now, I mentioned the sentry guns before. Let's go a little more in depth on sentry guns. Sentry guns will respond to a security status loss within 150 kilometers of them. Security status losses happen when you shoot an enemy ship or shoot an enemy pod that is not a legal target for you. These sentry guns apply about 200 DPS to your ship, so cruisers can withstand them for quite a bit longer than frigates. Frigates will be destroyed with a few volleys, and interceptors maybe 3 volleys at most. And this DPS is perfectly applied. There's no way to out-track the sentry guns. There's no way to reduce the incoming damage other than raw resistances on your ship. Cruisers and above can tank these sentry guns, especially with logistics support. So shooting an enemy ship illegally in a cruiser or above is not a death sentence. But if you're in a frigate or destroyer, you likely will lose your ship unless you can warp out immediately or you have support who is able to repair your ship immediately. These sentry guns will shoot you for 15 minutes after your most recent security status loss, or until you leave their range of 150 kilometers. So if you have a bookmark that's 200 kilometers away from the sentry guns, and you warp to that, then you will no longer take sentry gun aggression. If multiple people lost security status at the same time, or within the same small span of time, within range of the same guns, then the sentry guns will cycle through the targets in the order that they got their security status losses every 30 seconds. And it will continue to loop around until 15 minutes have passed, or the people who lost security status in range of the guns were able to get out of range of these guns. For more advanced frigate and interceptor pilots, there is a way to continue aggressing an illegal target after you've already aggressed them and have taken sentry guns. There's a way to remove the sentry gun aggression, and that is to aggress your target, take the sentry guns, warp out of range of the sentry guns, and then warp back in and continue aggressing the same target. The sentry guns will not respond again if you aggress the same target, because you will not take a security status loss for continuing to shoot that target. You've already taken your security status loss. Obviously, this is not indefinite. The timer will reset on that, and I believe that's the duration of your suspect timer. Crage McCrag asks if that's a bug. I'm not sure if it is. All I know is that I personally tested this over the weekend, and this is the way the guns react. However, if you shoot a new target that you didn't already shoot, you will take sentry guns again. And this includes that same person's capsule. You will take a separate security status loss for shooting their capsule. So you will be put back on the list of targets for the sentry guns. Zeg Jr. asked me to explain the cycling more, please. Every 30 seconds, if multiple people lost security status within range of the sentry guns, then yes, every 30 seconds, the guns will switch to a new target. And they'll continue going through their list until they get back to the beginning, and then keep looping through it until 15 minutes pass, or until everyone on that list leaves their range. Any questions about sentry guns? Danso Albosa asks, is there any rule for the order they fire in regarding to multiple targets? The answer is yes. They shoot targets in the order that they lost security status.
Do you need to be 150 kilometers away from the sentry gun for it to stop engaging you, or do you need to simply enter warp?
As soon as you enter warp, it will stop engaging you. I believe as soon as you're... What am I trying to say here? Because there is a case where you can enter warp but still be in range of the guns. I believe you do have to enter warp to a destination that's more than 150 kilometers away.
So you won't be taken off the list if you're 70 below and you warp to someone who's 80 above the gate, so that it's within warp range, but you're still within 150 kilometers.
Smokin' Moses, I believe you're a Pandemic Legion pilot, right?
No, I'm in Wolfos with you.
Oh, you're in Wolfos.
Yes, I actually tested it with my Smart Bombing Typhoon, and if you enter warp, doesn't matter what's the range to the Sentry Guns, you lose the aggro instantly and it switches to another one. And doesn't switch back to you when you exit warp.
Doesn't switch back to you at the moment you exit warp and you're the only target on field?
Yes, even if you're still in range. I actually had a bookmark on one Sentry Gun, and I warped to the other, and I didn't get shot at after I warped. As soon as you enter warp, they just drop aggro and done.
Well, there's some anecdotal evidence about the way you can drop Sentry Gun aggression. Duke Boston asks, have you confirmed their range is 150 kilometers? Because I've heard people say it can be larger, even the whole grid. I can confirm that it is 150 kilometers. I have been on grid with the Sentry Guns, but out of their range, aggressed someone illegally, and I did not take Sentry Guns. Any more questions about Sentry Guns? Again, because I haven't personally tested it, I'm going to recommend that you warp to a spot that's 150 kilometers away from the guns in order to get away from them. Just so you can't say that Afflixion Starr told you you can do this and then you lost your ship. Next topic, kill rights. You gain a kill right against someone if that person commits a criminal level offense against you. And this kill right is granted whether you lose your ship or not, and it's granted whether you shoot back or not. The moment they commit a criminal level offense against you, then you will gain a kill right. A kill right allows you to activate a suspect timer on their target, or on that target. And that suspect timer lasts 15 minutes. If they are killed, then the lost mail will say, killed on behalf of this target, or killed on behalf of your name, and then you will no longer have the kill right. And this only happens if they are killed while the kill right is active. You can sell your kill right for any amount of ISK to your corporation or to everyone in EVE. So if you want, you can set a price and anyone can activate a suspect timer on that target and be able to shoot them without consequences. But as soon as the person is killed once with the suspect timer from the kill right active, then you will lose that kill right. The kill right will have been fulfilled. In order to activate the kill right, when you click on the target on your overview and they show up in your selected items window, you'll see an icon at the top right that looks kind of like a crosshair. And that's how you know that they have a kill right that you can activate. Zale Naklu, I just answered your question there. Nenya O'Neill asks, where does that money go to or come from? The person who is activating the kill right has to pay the money, and the person who has the kill right, the person who was aggressed illegally and got the kill right, is the one who receives the money. So it's kind of like a bounty. Almost. Not really. It's a fee to be able to shoot them without taking sentry guns. How's that? Okay. Legal aggression. This is a short section here. If you're shooting a corporation member or a war target, then you will not get any additional timers above the log-off timer and the weapons timer. If you are shooting someone who is a suspect, criminal, or an outlaw, then you will gain a limited engagement timer with that pilot, and I'll cover limited engagements a bit later. If you're shooting someone who has a limited engagement timer already, or if you're shooting someone with whom you already have a limited engagement, all that does is refresh the limited engagement. Now for the security flags here, the suspect timer is a yellow skull and crossbones with the timer ticking down around it. And you gain a suspect timer from looting a container that you do not have permission to loot. These will show up as yellow containers. Containers that you can loot are the ones that resulted from you creating the wreck or container, someone in your fleet creating the wreck or container, or someone abandoning the wreck or container. Basically, if you can shoot the person who created the wreck, then you can loot the wreck. You also gain a suspect timer from illegally shooting a ship and low-sec. Oh, it's important to note, looting a container does not result in a security status loss. Therefore, looting a wreck in range of sentry guns is safe with respect to sentry guns. You'll still gain the suspect timer so people can shoot you, but you will not take sentry guns, you will not lose security status. Again, you'll gain a suspect timer for illegally shooting a ship in low-sec. You'll also gain a suspect timer for interfering with a limited engagement. That means if you provide remote assistance to someone who has a limited engagement that you do not have, then you will go suspect, and it'll be a full 15-minute suspect timer. I'll cover remote assistance at the end of the lecture. If you provide remote assistance to a pilot who's at war and has a capsuleer log-off timer, you will go suspect. If you provide remote assistance to someone who has a suspect timer, you will go suspect. Having a suspect timer means anyone in EVE can shoot you without consequences. The suspect timer lasts 15 minutes. And if anyone shoots you while you have a suspect timer, then you will gain a limited engagement timer with that pilot who shot you, and you will be allowed to shoot back. That's the entire purpose of the limited engagement timer. If you have a criminal timer, or moving on to the criminal timer, this is a red skull and crossbones with the timer ticking down around it. You will gain a criminal timer for illegally shooting a capsule in low security space and illegally shooting a ship or capsule in high security space. You'll also gain a criminal timer for providing remote assistance to a criminal. And just like with suspect, anyone in EVE can shoot you without consequences if you have a criminal timer. However, unlike suspect timers, if you have a criminal timer and you enter high security space in anything other than a capsule, and this includes a rookie ship that you gain from docking in a station in your capsule where you don't have any other ships, even the rookie ship will be destroyed by Concord if you undock or appear in space in high security space with a criminal timer. And again, it is a bannable exploit to avoid having your ship destroyed with a criminal timer in high security space. The criminal timer also lasts 15 minutes. The limited engagement timer, you gain a limited engagement timer for engaging a suspect, criminal, or outlaw. And this is what allows the suspect, criminal, or outlaw to shoot back. You also gain You also gain a limited engagement timer for initiating a duel. Once you request a duel and the other person accepts, you will both gain a limited engagement timer with each other. Limited engagement timer allows for unlimited aggression between the two pilots involved, but it's only between two pilots. So you will have a limited engagement with one pilot. You can have multiple limited engagements at a time. And you'll see the number of limited engagements around the timer at the top left of your screen. Limited engagement timer is a yellow. It's a turquoise, couple of turquoise swords with a timer ticking down around it. And if there's a number next to that, it'll either have no number, that means 1, or it'll have a number from 2 to 9, or 9 plus. And then if you hover over this timer, you will see the pilots that you can legally engage. Backing up a bit, Nenya O'Neill asked the question, I was trying to use a target jammer or something when I first started the game, and it was saying that I was going to become a suspect. What are the rules concerning electronic warfare? All forms of electronic warfare are considered hostile actions. So they will all result in aggression timers. And if the target is illegal, meaning he's not a criminal or a suspect, you don't have a limited engagement with them, they're not an outlaw, they're not in your corporation, you're not at war with them, then you will go suspect for shooting them in low sec. You will go criminal for shooting them in high sec. One thing I just realized I forgot to put into the syllabus, but I'll mention it here. Safeties. The safeties are the little green, yellow, or red icon at the top left of your capacitor wheel. If your safety is on green, you will be unable to perform any action that allows you to go suspect or criminal. Or not allows, that causes you to go suspect or criminal. Your ship simply will not respond, and you'll get an error message saying that your safety is on and you cannot perform that action. So if your safety is green, you cannot go suspect or criminal. If your safety is yellow, partial safety, you can go suspect, but you cannot go criminal. And if your safety is red, means safety is off, and your ship will not try to prevent you from performing any illegal actions. You will find that most pirate organizations or most PvP organizations will fly with red safeties. Any question about safeties, suspect, criminal, or limited engagement timers? Okay. Last thing I'm going to cover before I head to a Q&A is remote assistance. Remote assistance is any module that provides a bonus to another ship. So that bonus could be increased scan resolution, increased targeting range from a remote sensor booster. It could be increased sensor strength from a remote ECCM. It could be repairing their ship from remote hull repair units, remote armor repair, and remote shield booster. Any of those are considered remote assistance, and any drones that perform the same function, mainly the Logi drones, are counted as remote assistance. This is not counted as aggression, so you will not gain any timers if your target does not have any timers. You will not gain a capsuleer log-off timer for assisting a target. However, you will inherit every single timer that your target has. So if your target has, and you will inherit it with the amount of time remaining that your target has. So if you repair someone who has a capsuleer log-off timer with 11 minutes remaining, you will gain a capsuleer log-off timer with 11 minutes remaining. If that pilot happens to be in a corporation that's at war, then you will also gain a suspect timer of 15 minutes because you just committed a suspect level action. You will also gain a suspect timer, the full 15 minutes, if you assist a pilot who has a limited engagement that you do not have. This means that they've engaged someone who is a suspect or criminal or outlaw, or they've initiated a duel. They have a limited engagement with a pilot. You have not initiated a limited engagement with that same pilot. If you provide remote assistance, then you will be committing a suspect level offense and you will gain a full 15-minute suspect timer. And yes, Crage, this is how they deal with out-of-corp logistics ships. This applies in all areas of space, although the suspect timer is meaningless in null security and wormholes. So just to recap a bit, remote assistance will cause you to inherit every single timer your target has. So if they have a capsuleer log-off timer, a non-capsuleer log-off timer, a weapons timer, criminal timer, you will inherit all of those. The only one you will not inherit is limited engagement. If they have a limited engagement and you don't, then you will gain a full 15-minute suspect timer. You will not inherit a suspect timer. It's also important to note that a criminal timer will supersede a suspect timer. So if you have a criminal timer already active and you commit a suspect level offense, your criminal timer will be refreshed. So instead of gaining a 15-minute suspect timer in addition to the criminal timer, your criminal timer will be refreshed to 15 minutes. Zeg Dunier asks, leadership not included. Can you please clarify your question? Do you mean gang links? The bonuses? No, those are not counted as remote assistance because they are not targeted modules. You're not assisting a single ship. You're providing bonuses to the entire fleet. there any more questions about remote assistance? Zale asked about the differences between passive and active bonuses. Can you clarify that, please? Are you talking about gang links as well?
I was talking about the gang links.
That's a bit beyond the scope of the class.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Both passive and active bonuses from leadership don't apply to aggression, in the sense that they're not related to aggression. So that's the end of the prepared material that I have. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to a Q&A session. I'll stay here as long as there are people asking questions, and you can feel free to speak up and mumble.
I have a quick practical question I want to pose to the class, and I want to see who can get the answer correct.
Go for it.
So, you're in high sec, and you have two people who are in the same corp. You have a third party who's in a logistics ship who is out of corp. One of the players aggresses the other player who is in the same corp. They're shooting each other. The out-of-corp logistics ship starts repping one of the guys. What timers does the logistics get? Specifically, does the logistics ship go suspect? Just keep typing your answers in lecture. Okay, everyone who said no suspect timer is correct. The out-of-corp logistics ship will not go suspect. You will only get the capsuleer log-off timer. So this means that the other guy who's not getting repped is not allowed to engage the out-of-corp logi.
Do note this is only true if the two players are not at war. Their
They're in the
corporation,
same corp.
no, if their corporation is not at war.
So if their corporation is at war and the two guys engage each other, I'm not following. Go say again, Affliction.
So they're in the same corporation. Their corporation or their alliance happens to be at war with another corporation or alliance. And one player aggresses the other. You are correct in saying that there are no consequences for them shooting each other because they're in the same corporation. They will only gain capsuleer log-off timers, and the person who did the shooting will gain a weapons timer. However, if anybody provides remote assistance to either of them now, because they have capsuleer log-off timers and they're at war...
Ranking Aflixion.
Sorry, must be my internet. So they're in the same corporation. Their corporation's at war. When they shoot each other, because they're in... Am I breaking up that badly now? Am I okay now? Okay, I'm going to finish the recording now, since we finished the prepared topics. I'll come back for the Q&A.